I've got two cases with you both here. So in the first one, Miss Meyer has asked for a contempt finding for violations of a previously granted order. And then it looks like Miss Adams has filed her own independent petition subsequent to that. And the hearing on that is set for today. I'm going to handle these kind of at the same time since you're both here. So I'll just hear what you both have to say and make a decision on both issues, the contempt issue that's been raised and on whether or not there's going to be an additional order granted. Okay, makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. The contempt issue is a little bit different than the hearings that you've seen happen up to now this morning, but it's also similar. So just sort of to frame that up, Ms. Meyer has brought allegations that Ms. Adams has engaged in conduct that violates the restraint provisions of the anti-harassment order that was issued earlier. And she's asking the court to make a finding that that occurred and to issue a contempt order. So that's a little bit different than granting an order, but the standards of proof are basically the same. So, all right, I'm going to have both of you raise your right hands, please. Do you each swear that the testimony you give in these matters will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
All right, so I'm Ms. Myers. I'm going to let Ms. Meyer. I'm going to let you go first.
Okay. So I had filed a anti-harassment, I want to say it was like May 19th now, and I had it granted. And since like right after that, a lot of things escalated to the point where I've had to talk to my landlord and I've had to call law enforcement. Law enforcement has been a bit harder because when I've contacted them, they've told me several times that my anti-harassment order wasn't served. So then I've had to call the court to get it to like verify to say like the law enforcement is saying that my anti-harassment isn't served and they're telling me it has been served, we have sent it. So then they've had to contact law enforcement again to say like this has been served, and then I've had to call law enforcement to like confirm and say the court has called you and sent you. That's such an issue for me to even get like figured out. There have been multiple times where Cindy has violated my anti-harassment, and according to the cops, each time that I call them is a isolated time. So it's like I can't refer to it again. So it's like something has happened and I've had it on video where she's contacted me like directly. I can't like call them again and say like now can you help me because I've of my anti-harassment. It's been more along the lines of them coming and say like first they were like you need to get video proof because it was more verbal. So I understood that. I was like okay then. So then I would have video and then they would say, "Well, now I don't have anything here that says that your anti-harassment served." So it's just kind of been an ongoing thing. So like the next step I talked to a lawyer. The next step was like contempt, and they said just to give the information that I had. There have been incidents where she's yelling and screaming outside my door to the landlord, and I had a video of that, but the lawyer said because it wasn't directed at me, not to that it wouldn't be something would that I could show the court, but I wanted to show it just because I wanted you to hear like how she talks and how she's screaming at like someone, even the landlord. And there have just been like situations where the maintenance, even my landlord has come to me and said that she said these things about them to the point where I'm like, that's how it is for me, where she's doing harassment to me directly. In the evidence that I sent you, there's videos, or not videos, of also photos of her trying to break into the laundry room where the knob and the lock have been completely broken out. And I've called the landlord and he's even verbalized and said, "Oh, she told me she was going to do this and I can't believe that she did it." And so then he took access of the laundry room from her because she has been she messed with the like construction of the like the vent, and she's like screwing things, and so he took that away from her, and I feel like that kind of escalated it, but mostly it's been just about me, my home. I feel like anxious even being here. My landlord has given me keys to another property that he has, that when I'm not feeling safe, I could stay there. I can't live there because it's a property he's selling, but he has given me keys because he knows I have my son, and he knows how like unstable she is because he doesn't want me to be around it. Um, it's been like an ongoing thing. The landlord has verbalized to me that he is working on like an eviction because even this harassment has gone to the point to him as well, because this has nothing to like pertain to my case, but I just want to say it because it also like shows her unstable behaviors, because he came to me after talking to her and said that she's implying to him that that she was going to say that he touched her inappropriately when he didn't. So it's just been like an ongoing thing all the way around. And for me, it's just been like I'm trying to keep my son in a stable and safe environment. Luckily, all the times that she's done stuff, my son has not been present. And I've been able to have him with his dad, or I've been able to have him at that property just to make sure that he's not here when she's like yelling or there's something going on or the cops are here. But it's been like a situation where it's just caused so much anxiety, and I don't even feel like calm or safe like in my home. So it's mostly about like having my son here. And I feel like it in the last month and a half, he has barely even been here because I don't want him around this environment.
All right, well, let me hear from you, Mrs. Adams, both on the issues that Ms. Myers brought up about potentially violating the order and about your own petition for an order against Ms. Myers.
Could I ask you first, because I did go over the what was filed on both the cases last night, and I didn't see the police reports. Did you see any of that? Because that's kind of like what I'd like to focus on, if I may. Um, I can provide you with the copy so we could follow along a little bit, and I'll try to go through this pretty quickly.
These are police reports?
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome.
Have you given those to Ms. Meyer?
Yes, it's yes, it's all been.
Let me see what you have here.
It's all been filed. I highlighted.
You might have filed those. I've got two cases I've got to
Yeah,
take a
I
look
didn't
at
see
here.
it myself, and I searched and searched, and I didn't see videos of where she's saying I contacted her directly, which I haven't, and the landlord verified that I had not as well in one of the conversations with Officer Paul. I just would like to go over each one of these a little
These
bit
are
briefly.
Lacey police reports. All right, let's see. Ms. Meyer, did you get these Lacey police reports? Well, they're not really police reports. They're abstracts of
Yeah,
calls.
I seen
At,
like I seen like some of them. I didn't really it didn't I mean it's showing that like the police officers came here and like verbalized, but it's not showing, I'm not really understanding like how that really pertains to like me, because I mean it pertains to me, but I just don't, I read them, but I'm not really seeing like
well, my question isn't whether you agree with them
oh,
or think
okay.
there's any merit to them, just whether you know about them. Have you
Yeah,
had notice of these?
I seen the
Yeah,
ones that are in the documents that she served me.
okay. I don't see those here. Let me see if I just missed them. Aha, I found them. Okay. So yes, you did file these. They're in your petition, and now I found them. So, okay, mystery solved.
I have extra copies. You can
Yeah,
go.
no, that's fine. I mean, I
Were
appreciate
you
that.
able to go over them, or we could go
Yeah,
over?
these are just CAD logs. These are recordings that the 911 center makes that sort of outline the basis of the call and who responded and sort of like a skeleton version of
Mhm.
events and then the disposition. So yeah, they're not really police reports so much as they're just sort of documentation of contacts and actions taken by law enforcement, taken by the 911 dispatch center at TCOM. So yeah, I'm very familiar with these. I know exactly what they are.
I'd like to be a little more specific on the charges or the accusations. So Bianca was granted a protection order on May 19th, and May 24th, it started with her calling the police. Yeah, I was doing my laundry and I did it up till midnight. But she called dispatch and told them I was yelling and pounding outside. And the officer came and she said she had a video of me making excessive noise. And I was just doing my laundry and he listened to the video, and he made a comment here that that there was nothing unusual about, that he could barely hear on her video of me opening and closing the machines. He also noted that there was no sign of malicious intent. Basically, what I perceive is happening here now is because this went on for a week. It was every single day. I would go to the store and I come home and I was greeted by two police officers at the end of my driveway over the knob in the laundry room. The day after, or I think it was the day after the next day, she was so upset about Officer Gutierrez not arresting me because I was taking so long to do my laundry, that the next day in the report that's I'd use the last three numbers of the police event 020, she called him. She called and got him. He was working at the time, Officer Gutierrez, same officer that came out and demanded. It says she demanded that I have have Cindy arrested. And then he goes on to say, then and he just responded that she was just doing her laundry, and that he doesn't hear anything on the video of anything but that. And then she wanted to speak to his supervisor. It seems to me that he was, I can't say how another person feels, but he went on the next page to that and said he's going to write a report and refer it to the prosecutor. Because of not my actions, but her actions, demanding that he have me arrested for doing my laundry late at night, which is not uncommon for either one of us. We live in an odd situation with the houses that's been divided up into a duplex. Then let me see. So the thing with the vent, I mean, she's gone so far as to accuse me of there's a vent, it's a hole in the laundry room, and she's gone so far as to say that I took the vent off and I was peering through her house while she's sleeping on the couch, and she just suddenly wakes up and sees me staring at her. I mean, I don't even know what to say about that. I did try to cover the vent because the officer had told, I'm sorry if I'm being a little loud. I get a little loud when I get upset. But the officer had told me she was using the vent that goes into the laundry room. It is on the other side of her wall is a kitchen. And unfortunately for her, that the laundry room is she could hear the sounds more into her kitchen than the way the house is situated. I'm further back, so I don't hear it as much. Occasionally I do, but if the buzzer or something, but for her, you could hear it. So, I mean, it was twofold or more than that I even covered it up, but she didn't like the idea that I covered it up. I covered that vent up because she was using it to videotape me. this is the privacy of my home, even though we shared the laundry room. She went so far as to have her friend Tristan Chapin come over and tear off the frame of the door, which is the door to my entrance into the laundry room. Hers is from her kitchen. We have separate doors. And that door has a lock on my side, keeping her from entering my unit and me vice versa. So her not liking that I took so long to do my laundry and whatever she thinks she went on to say I was harassing her because I'd taken so long. I was washing everything. But mostly because the officer wouldn't arrest me the next day for that she went so far as to have called her friend over and he tore the door frame off on this side and used it of my door and used it to board up the door so I couldn't gain entrance into the laundry room. In the meantime, it was anyway, we talked about the vent thing. So there was a point so I was texting the landlord and he said that he would, because the landlord did come over at some point. He came over and him and I, as soon as he pulled up, she comes running out. And I'm by my car. I'm walking out the door, but I'm still by my car. And I have not made any contact with her whatsoever. I have done my best not to. She has tried to antagonize me. She has tried to coerce me into situations to talk to her. I don't even know why she has a protection order. The very next day, this happened on Saturday with the laundry. The very next day on Sunday, I'm out washing she has a garbage can as she assigned me this garbage can and she has this one and I'm cleaning my garbage can. This was the very next day. It only took her 4 days to take that protection order and use it to harm me with, and I knew that she would. So I'm cleaning my garbage can out and I'm washing my car. And she comes out, she pretends to she's going to put something in her trash like this. And then she walks over, and it's so petty, it's ridiculous. She walks over, she's looking at me, and I'm standing by my car, and I'm getting ready to wash my car because I rinsed out the can, and I have some trash next to the can because I was still working on that. And she walks over, she looks at me, and she grabs she is like this. And she's watching me the whole time, and she grabs the tip of the garbage bag and goes like this. And like as if there's this invisible line and don't cross it on the gravel. So for somebody that's so fearful of me, why are you putting yourself in harm's way? If I'm such you think I'm going to do something, but you come out and you stand there, you're not 10 feet from me. She did the same thing with her son. She sent her son out to play ball in the driveway, and I've lived there for 15 months now, and she's lived there a couple months longer. And the situation is the house has been divided, and I'm in the back, and she's up here in the front. And the driveway is, yes, she uses it because she has a parking space here, but I mainly use it because I have to go here, and nobody is allowed to park in the driveway. It was stated from the beginning by the landlord, though she had tried to do that at the beginning, and she has not done it since. Once I told her I don't want to be blocked in, but that went on to another story here. But so I felt she said, from what I could tell, I hear her son out bouncing the ball in the driveway, and I'm inside, and I'm not going to go outside because the protection order has his name on it too. And so I have a window right there. And so the curtains open a little bit. And I noticed her cat was laying in a planter box, which, I don't care about the cat, that's what they want to do. And so I saw the boy and he waved at me. And one thing, he's never played out there in the 15 months I've been there. And he's never waved to me. And so, but I could tell he was about 10 feet behind my car. And so she has this little strip of sidewalk. And I could tell by the way he was acting, he was taking his orders, I don't want to say orders, but instructions of how to act with me, because he would look over her and then look over I couldn't see her, but you could tell when somebody's interacting with somebody else. And so, but for him to wave, because I felt that she told him to go out there, and actually, I know this sounds a little bit crazy, but to wave at me to get, because she's calling the police every single day over petty stuff, and they're saying she hasn't violated her order. She's calling police back and saying, well, what does she got to do to violate her order? Can I help her? She's trying to help me violate the order. That's where the coercion comes in. And as far as cars, this picture car, she had her friend parked right behind me at 9 o'clock at night. I want to go to the store before they close. And she's saying, and yes, I did honk to have her come out. She never did come out, and police had to come, but the police are, so what I believe is happening here is she is using the courts to try to get me arrested and to turn around, and because the police are saying she hasn't done anything wrong. There's no intent. There's 3 times for sure in these police reports that the police are saying no. So she says, oh, well, okay, I can't get them to do it. Maybe I can get the judge to do it. And then by that, she's going to go back and she's going to tell the landlord, okay, he's going to have her arrested. Now let's get her evicted. And it even mentions that she had that conversation with a police officer getting her evicted. She's telling them, she's telling it's all written in here. She's telling the police what she's going to do. I'm going to make it. She tells one police, I'm going to make it where she doesn't have access to the laundry room. She's telling them beforehand, and they said, I'm going to make it where she gets evicted. So that's suggestive to everything that's been going on. For that last week. I mean, this has been going on a little bit longer.
All right, I understand.
Okay. And I apologize. I am very nervous, and I feel like I'm in lockdown in my house. I've been scared to death. I talk to my daughter about it all the time. I talk to my brother who lives in Florida about it all the time. And I've got my curtains closed. I'm afraid to go out in my car, and she's got, watching me all the time. And anything that she has, I'm gonna lower my voice, anything that you may have read in there, because I have gone over some things, she has submitted, she says videos, and my restraining order, though it's temporary, and I'm seeking a more permanent one, says that she cannot continue to videotape me. Well, but she keeps saying I'm videotaping her. So anything that she has presented to the court that's you're reading about, I've looked at the dates that she's talking about, and they're before my restraining order of May 19th. But she's what I see her doing too is misleading. She's misleading the police. She's lied to Officer Paul, saying that I made contact. I looked for that video. She was saying that I made direct contact. I want to see that. Anyway, I think I've said no. Right. I have not made direct contact. I have tried to avoid her.
Yeah, like I said, I understand, and I think you're kind of hitting the point where you're repeating things that you've already said, and so it might be time to stop here. All right, I'm going to tell you my ruling on both things. First of all, the contempt on the 25-133. I don't think contempt has been proved here. There's not a substantial basis to find factually that there were intentional violations of the order. I went back and reviewed the order, and the prohibitions have not been violated as far as what I can find here based on the filings and based on the testimony. Not satisfied by a preponderance of the evidence that occurred. And then, so I'm going to deny the motion for contempt. And then the petition under 25-160 to issue an order basically in the other direction. I'm going to deny that as well. I know that there's difficulties introduced into this relationship by the fact that an anti-harassment order exists, but a person making reports of violations of an order and calling the police is not going to serve as the basis for harassment. So Miss Adams, I'm not going to do that. Now, you have the right, Miss Adams, to request the court by filing a motion to do this, to review or rescind the order that was issued on May 19th. That's not before the court right now, so I'm not making any rulings on that.
No, could you tell me again why you're not? Your Honor,
Because you
she's
have
not
to-
gonna leave me alone. I've been a nervous wreck. I can't take anymore. I want her to stay on her side and I will stay on my side. Please don't talk to me. Don't have nothing to do with me. Now I have to go out to the laundromat all the time. I have a broken wrist that's still trying to heal. And to have to lift all of the laundry, it costs $150 a month, which the landlord is having to pay because of her selfishness. But Your Honor, if I don't have, because she has the restraining order, so she has or thinks she has the upper hand. I don't know how I've not proven that she has not harassed me since she got that restraining order. She's going to keep coming after me. So what is it I didn't prove?
You have to prove by preponderance of the evidence that harassment occurred, and that has not been done, particularly by showing that she's attempted to have the anti-harassment order enforced. You find that disagreeable, but that doesn't serve as the basis to prove that she's engaged in a pattern of harassment. That is
calling the police on me every single day. Calling the police on me every single day is not harassment.
Now, like I said, the order itself, the order that was issued earlier, I believe that by Judge Meyer, you can ask the judge to review that if it's having consequences that he needs to be aware of to make modifications to the order. If you file a motion like that, the court may very well consider it.
Let me write that down. Okay, tell me again so I can write down because I'm not going to remember it. And directly to him?
No, to the court.
But not. Okay, what do I say now?
I'm not going to tell you what to say.
No,
I'm just
I know.
telling you that there is a procedure by which you can ask the court to review an order that's been issued and make modifications to it. You just have to make the request and support it in writing, and the judge will determine whether that merits a hearing.
So, well, I don't know why I'm not getting this. Review an order that's been issued. I don't have an order now. It's my temporary order.
The order that was issued in 25-133, the one that restricts you. If
Right.
those restrictions are causing you problems, you can ask the judge to review that. Okay. All right, so I've denied the order under 160. I've denied the contempt under 133. There are no written findings to accompany the denial of contempt under 133. That's done on the record orally. There's a written motion denying the petition under 160.
Your Honor, can I say something?
All right, what would you like to say?
There was also another order that she tried to serve on me that was a not the anti-harassment that she was trying to serve on me. There's another one where she tried to serve like contempt. Is that also getting dismissed? Because she's saying that
I don't have that in front of me for a hearing, so I don't know what you're referring to, but the only action that's been taken is what I referred to.
Okay. Okay.
All right, Ms. Adams, these are your copies here. And that'll conclude your hearings for today.
Okay.
Now, there's not a single person among us that hasn't at some point in our lives had a really crazy, really weird neighbor. And if you're looking around thinking, well, which one of mine is it? And you can't find one in your head, it's probably you. But anyway, we have a restraining order trial here at the moment between a young lady and her elderly neighbor. And it gets weird. It gets really, really weird. So sit back, grab yourself a drink, enjoy this one. It gets crazier and crazier and crazier as this whole thing goes by. So let's check this out. Right, so the lady on the screen is the one who's bringing the case, and the other lady's just making her way up to the stand right now. And yeah. Things get out of control. She says some stuff here that may put you off your lunch, so make sure you're not eating. I'd just like to start by saying that lady does not look 70. Fair play. And this judge is great. Like, he doesn't take any crap.
So you folks live in the same complex there?
Yes, we live in the same, it's like a shared home almost. I guess you could say it's like a duplex almost.
And so, Ms. Myers, I'll start with you. Could you raise your, and again, I should say, as far as I know, no relation. She has the same last name as I do, but I'm not related to her, I don't think. And so you raise your right hand, ma'am. You swear and affirm the information testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, Your Honor.
You can put your hand down. How is it you need an order against Ms. Adams?
So there has been so many instances where I have just felt like she's been coming to my window, yelling through my window, and I have just kind of been putting up with it. I wasn't sure what to do, so I called the cops because she had been yelling through my window one night and I was ignoring her, and she's screaming and yelling about my cat. And my son was laying on the couch and he started crying. So I noticed that it started to like affect him because he got scared. So then I called the cops and
What is she yelling?
she's yelling, "You need to come get your cat. It's cold outside. They need to come inside." And yelling like, "I'm going to call Animal Protective Services or whatever." She seems to be super concerned about my animals, or she's calling my animals a lot, and I've told her to just leave them alone. This was in the middle of the night, so I called the cops. I just had
What do you
told
mean
them.
by the middle of the night? The middle of the night can be 6:30 at night to someone, some other
Well,
people, the middle of the night's 2 a.m.
it was dark, so but it wasn't like 2 a.m. I want to say it was like 7 o'clock at night because my
I
son
see.
was still up. um so when
How
I
many animals do you have? You said my animals, and then I heard about a cat. You have more than
Yeah.
one animal?
I do, I have 3 cats.
Okay, continue on, sorry.
That's okay. So I contacted the police and I told them that this has been something that I just like, I'm not sure what to do. She's yelling through my window, she's scaring my son, and it's gotten to the point where I feel like I can't like open my blinds, I have to cover windows. She doesn't really listen when it comes to me just saying like to leave me alone. At first I told them, I was like, I don't have like any proof. I'm like, this has all been like verbal. And they're actually the ones that like told me to get an anti-harassment protection order. Cause they're like, if she's just saying these things and you get that protection order, then that means that when you call, then we can actually do something. But every time that it would happen, I would call just to like put it on record. I don't have a record of the police, of me calling the police, because I tried to get like a online and I submitted to get records, and then it said it took 5 days, and then they weren't able to get them, and so then I have to wait another 5 days. So it just, I wasn't able to get those specific ones. But I did have a friend that was present during one of these instances where she brought her kids over, and whenever her kids come over, she'll come to my window, and say they can play for a little bit, but after that they can't play because she can't take the screaming. And our kids are like 11, 8, 2 are 11 and like 8, so they're just playing like normal kids will. And when we told her that just to like leave us alone, she started calling me a bitch. She's yelling, "You're a bitch, you're just a bitch." And then she's like, "Do you want to fight?" And for me, it just is causing me anxiety because it's around my son. And I've talked to the landlord. Even the maintenance people have come to me and said that she'll yell at them as well to like leave, or so it's just like a constant thing. And the only reason I'm even doing this protection order right now is because my son is getting affected by it. Like, he even is so anxious about it, or when she comes to the window, he'll be like, "Can we just move?" Because it's such a constant. And she isn't doing anything to us like physically, but it's to the point where it's like mentally where we're just like can't even be comfortable in our home.
And how long have you lived there?
I've lived here for almost 2 years in August.
And then, was she there when you got there, or did she move in after that?
She wasn't. She moved in after, and the
And
landlord
how
had
did things go? It sounds like I read some of your, I mean, you had some texts from other people. It sounds like things started off well, or at least not bad.
Yeah, they were okay in the beginning. The landlord had told me because he wanted to, he knew that I had my son who's young, he's 11, and that I work night shift. So he was talking to me about like trying to bring someone in that's quiet and who isn't going to be loud because he's like, I know you work night shift. So he was under the impression that there wasn't going to be any issues. When I started going to him about it, he would apologize to me and he would say like, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that she was going to be this difficult. I would text him and he would say like, I'm going to talk to her. And when he would talk to her, it would go little periods of time where she would just leave me alone, but then it would just escalate after that. And I personally like when I live in places, and I've lived in a lot of places. I've lived in Georgia, I've lived in Kansas. I lived on military posts where I've never had this happen. So I wasn't sure what to do. Um it's just come to the point where my son can't even play outside, or my friend doesn't even want to come over with their kids because she's like, oh, she's going to come yell at us, or my son is like, she'll tell me stuff about the cat. And she's like, even directly talking to my son sometimes, and he's 11.
Okay, let me hear from her. Hang on just a second. You submitted a video.
I did.
So he watches the video here in a minute. We don't get to see the video, unfortunately. I kind of wish we could, but we don't get to see it. So I'll just play on, and I'll just skip the part where he's looking at the video, basically, because it's just the judge is sitting there. So
So
we'll skip it on a bit.
and it has like a spigot, like the nozzle on the end. And I was like, I'm so sorry. They keep reassuring me. They're like, no, this is
Excuse
what
me.
we're here for. It's not okay that this happened. She shouldn't be doing these kinds of things. And I'm like, and I know it's such a trivial thing, but I shouldn't have to like worry about my property being taken by someone. And then I have to go knock on their door to be like, can you please give it back? She tried to imply that her one in the back was stolen. I don't even go in the back in her area at all. At all. Like I don't touch anything back there. She said
Did you
that
get your,
Now we start hearing some stuff here in a little while about that back area and some of the issues that the crazy neighbor has with her back area. Oh God, that sounded really, really bad phrasing, but you know what I mean? Yeah, she likes to do some things that she doesn't want people seeing, and it's gross.
nozzle back?
I did. She gave it back to them. So she did say that she took it, and so that's like the thing too that I'm like, I don't understand. So it's just been an ongoing issue.
Let me hear from her.
Okay.
Ma'am, raise your right hand. Can you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
It's
Okay,
gonna
put
get
your
good
hand
here.
down. What's your response to what you just heard?
Did you receive, this is 11 pages of my,
When did that come in?
I didn't know I was supposed to have it like a week ahead of time. I got reprimanded at the counter. I brought it in Wednesday or Thursday. It's directly to you or your honor.
Respondents exhibits. No, I did not see that, to tell you the truth.
11 pages,
12 pages.
12 pages. God damn.
Do you want to take a moment and read it? It's
Yeah,
not
I
really,
do.
okay, I'll be quiet then.
I'm just gonna try skip through his face.
So, I don't know if you had a chance to read what she submitted there, Ms. Meyer.
I didn't. Not if it wasn't able to go through.
No, it was all handwritten, and it's there, but it was submitted on Wednesday. You know, on the final paragraph, and I have a number of questions.
Okay.
And the first is, I'm fine with never having to interact with Bianca Meyer or her son again. However, I expect the same consideration. I do not want her
not
son,
how that
her
works.
friend, or her friend's children anywhere within my site. I don't want any of them to set foot in your yard. Isn't it a shared yard?
But like, sorry, no, but like, she can't feasibly expect a judge to order this lady who's bringing the restraining order. She can't reasonably expect the judge to order her kids, her friend, and her friend's kids to stay out of her sight. Like, oh, she's just one of those Karens, man. You just know the type straight away.
It's not really, the way it's situated, it's an old house. And when I moved in just a little over a year ago, and she'd moved in, it doesn't really matter how long, but just 4 months before me. It seems to be an issue with her. So she's in the old house, and part of it goes off like here and in the back. And it was just a big room, and the landlord converted into a house, basically. So so she has the front yard. I would prefer it the other way around, but because I'm responsible for mowing the backyard. She has no entrance. She doesn't have a back
Nobody
door.
cares.
In my contract, it says I'm responsible for mowing the lawn and taking care of the lawn, and which I broke my wrist completely in half by trying to move a branch. But not only that, it's private.
What branch was it?
How I live and move about in my apartment is private. The landlord has, I probably shouldn't mention it because it'll get repeated back. There's some gossiping going on, I've noticed in that.
Probably shouldn't mention it in case it gets back to him because there's some gossip going on. Lady, it's live on YouTube. Yeah. Oh, God.
But where he's come on the property, and we're not always, this is my home, and it's private back there. There's fence, and everybody's out there. So you walk about your home comfortable. I'm not
So I'm not completely
She
following
means
everything
naked.
you're saying to me. My question to you, I think, was a pretty
She means naked.
simple one.
okay.
And that is the backyard shared? And it's not uncommon to have common areas in rental property, like
It
an
is not
apartment.
in
you
the
can have-
contract
ma'am,
it
please
is
don't
not in the
interrupt me.
contract.
Can you please not interrupt me, please?
I'm sorry.
I won't interrupt you either, all right? So, but is the general understanding that's a common area where, I mean, she apparently has a kid who sometimes hangs out there with friends. Is that, she was telling me and someplace else in there that was a shared backyard. And so is that or is that not the case in your opinion?
It is not. And also, I'm very, very disappointed, and I'm surprised that she's done this because I've been very generous to her. I've given her furniture, I've given her clothes, I've given her linen, I've taken care of her cats while she started a graveyard shift at the hospital in Tacoma. I don't believe that her son is a nervous type. She leaves him home all night long by himself. He's fine at 11. I've talked with the boy. I've offered if he's afraid, I'm right there. You can come and talk to me. I've given him a guitar. I've just been neighborly.
See, that's the thing. Like, she may well be, right? Like, she might be the sweetest lady ever in a lot of respects. Like, she doesn't seem like a nasty lady. Like, she's probably really lovely in her own way. The problem is, yes, all of those things are lovely and neighborly, and that's great conduct and all the rest of it. But then it's the nasty stuff overshadows it. That's the stuff that gets looked at. That's the stuff that's taken into consideration. You may well be an absolutely lovely person, but when you behave in a certain way, then this is what happens. So I don't think she quite understands that. And we find out a little bit more about the gifting and stuff here in a while.
And like I said, I took care of her cats for a couple of weeks while she got acclimated. And how I took care of them is she couldn't get them in the house, and they needed to be in the house. She expects me not to speak to her cats. Her cats were all right there.
Sorry for interrupting again so quickly. I know that's going to drive people crazy, but what's meant by speaking to somebody's cats? Like, what, filling the cat's head with nonsense and poison? Like, oh, she's not really that nice to you. I'm way nicer. I've got better chicken. Like, speaking to someone's cats. I don't get that at all. I don't understand that at all. If anybody wants to speak to my cat, you're more than welcome because she wrecks my head. But she's so damn cute, she gets away with it.
Here together. We share a laundry room, but her cats are on top of my car. I don't mind. It's a 24-year-old car. They like to sleep on the sunroof. Pearl was
Excuse me.
there yesterday. She doesn't even want me to speak to them. And they're on my deck. And Jordan, one of the boy cats, managed to get in. He chewed his way through the pet thing that I had made and got into the house. And I have 6 cats myself.
Of course you do. Hold on. What kind of a cat is it that this lady has? Was it like a tiger or something? It was able to chew through a door. I mean, I've seen some big cats, but holy shit, that's some Serengeti stuff.
It wasn't a friendly environment for the first 6 months when I moved in. She did not want me to go into her yard. She came out and yelled at me and embarrassed me in front of the maintenance guy. And I was just standing there asking him if I could make him a couple sandwiches for lunch. And she comes out and her friend's right there with her. And I needed to cross over to her yard to go around to the back to carry lumber. I'm not going to carry it through my house like that because I was building a pet enclosure. She has repeatedly told me she does not want me in her front yard. I'm not lingering. And I also, and I'm sorry, I mean, if the landlord could rig something else up with the faucet, I'm fine, but it's right there. I'm not, the curtains are closed a lot. And I did communicate with her through her window. Sometimes she'd sit on the couch, her and Hunter, and we'd visit a little bit for whatever the reason was. I wasn't yelling at her. I did call out to her, and I mentioned that about Pearl. She just had surgery and it was pouring down rain, and I was leaving to go to the store, and Pearl was looking at me to get her in, and she wasn't responding. But anyway, no, we were friends. We weren't friends. I want to say we were friends, even though she helped me with some things too. I broke my wrist. She zipped up my pants for me, offered to take me to the ER. She took my cat litter in for me. She took my water in for me. And so and all of a sudden in January, I offered to have her cat, I got a $300 voucher to have Pearl fixed and set up the appointment. She was all fine with it. All of a sudden, no, that's off. I said, that's fine. I'm not going to do any more. I won't do any more for you.
$300 to get the cat fixed. That's a lot, is it not? Maybe it's obviously like different country or whatever, but over here it's about $50 at the most. And a lot of places do it free, like a lot of vets and a lot of like animal welfare places do it free depending on the time of year or whatever. Like I've got to go get my one done. I couldn't get her done earlier because of some health issues that she had. So I've been waiting to do it. So she had her first heat and it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. She was locked into the house, obviously, because I live on a farm and there's tomcats everywhere. But oh my God, the noise is ungodly. But yeah, no, it just seems like a lot of money. I don't know.
And I walked out of the picture. So I'm not in it the first 6 months. I feel attacked. And then
I feel attacked. Why?
She started approaching me. She helped me dig a hole. I lost one of my cats. I'm out in the backyard digging a hole with a broken wrist. She had dug the first few holes, So we were interacting neighborly. I had told her originally after the first 6 months, and I saw it wasn't going well. I said, look, we're going to get along one way or another because I'm not moving. And maybe that is her goal. My landlord has never come to me and said there was a problem. When she puts her arm, people will do this to us without doing this, okay? And I stay away. I've never been okay with the kids in the backyard. And this is my home. Sometimes I walk to get something in the kitchen or whatever, naked. I really don't want that to come back to the court and say I was showing myself naked to the children when I.
Oh, I could have done without that image. Oh. Yeah, you're in your own home. Fine. Like, whatever. I don't care. I mean, goddamn. The judge's face here is absolutely priceless. He's like, oh. I think he's thinking the same thing as me. He's like, lady, we could have done without that. Ah, Jesus. I mean.
She had dug the first few holes, So we were interacting neighborly. I had told her originally after the first 6 months, and I saw it wasn't going well. I said, look, we're going to get along one way or another because I'm not moving. And maybe that is her goal. My landlord has never come to me and said there was a problem. When she puts her arm, people will do this to us without doing this, okay? And I stay away. I've never been okay with the kids in the backyard. And this is my home. Sometimes I walk, I'll just say, sometimes I walk to get something in the kitchen or whatever, naked. I really don't want that to come back to the court and say I was showing myself naked to the children.
Judge is trying
when I
so
don't
hard
even
not to
know that
laugh.
they're out there. It is a private backyard. She doesn't have entrance through the back door. There is nothing in my contract said that it was shared. And for the first year, nobody, the kids didn't go back there. And all of a sudden, one day I come home and there's, why should I have to put up with all these other kids that don't even live there in my backyard screaming? I'm not a well person as it is. I have a lot of health
Evidently.
issues and I need peace and quiet in my own home.
Which
And
is
that's
fair
all
enough.
I'm asking for. I can stay away from her. I don't need to anything, and I won't. This is not reconcilable at all. I'm really hurt by her because I've given her nice furniture and other things. You know, I've just tried to be neighborly with her, and I'm really disappointed that she has felt that she needs to do this. The nozzle. It happened more in the apartment I lived in. Somebody took my nozzle, cut the end of the hose. So that's just habit. She knows I was in a habit of doing that. Didn't steal anything. She goes on to say that I stole her possessions. What possessions? It was the nozzle. And I had a heart attack, 10 o'clock at night. I've got 2 police officers at my door. I've got a family too. And I'm thinking something's happened to them over a nozzle. She knows all she has to do is ask me. I did get upset because when I went to the window, because the kids were out playing when I came home that.
Hold on now, real quick though. I get it. All she needs to do is ask you, but she shouldn't have to ask you for her own stuff. Now, I'm assuming, I don't know, because I haven't seen this completely in its entirety. I just kind of flicked through it, but like I was watching it live and there was a lot of chit chat and stuff like that. And I was jumping between courts and I kind of missed bits of it or whatever. I'm assuming that the young lady there that's brought the case or whatever, I'm assuming she's probably going to go into that about the cops being called over the nozzle, I think for the hose or whatever. Okay, not the crime of the century, and I don't think a crime at all, really. I think she genuinely was just trying to stop people robbing it or whatever, but it's not hers, you know, at the end of the day. But I think calling the cops over that's probably a bit much. But then again, it might have been the straw that broke the camel's back, so.
And it's all in here. And I asked, her friend I just talked through the window and her friend was standing right there. There's no sense in knocking. They're probably not even going to come anyway, to tell her friend to tell the kids to quiet down. Because that's all. And her son was not present. He was in the backyard when I went there, because it's right there. And he was there when I went back. She's lying to you. She's lying to the court.
Can I say something, Your Honor?
Yeah, give me a minute to.
He's trying to get
Give
over
me a
what she
minute
said
here.
about going to the kitchen naked. Jesus. Naked grandma. Nobody wants to see that. Like, I mean, in fairness, right? For 70 years of age, she's a fine looking woman. Not my type, but oh well, never say never, you know what I mean? Stranger things have happened. I'm not sure what he's actually doing right now, but I've been trying to find this other one. Somebody was on to me about it last night. A sovereign citizen in a court in Washington as well, in Tacoma. If anybody knows where I can find that particular court, it was a pro temp judge and it's supposed to be really, really good. I saw OSG had it, and I think possibly Law Talk Mike had it as well. But I'd like to get a clean copy of it if anybody knows where I can find one, because I love those cases.
Go ahead, ma'am. Ms. Meyer.
So the first time that the incident happened with the kids in the backyard, which the yard is huge. It's a really huge backyard. Like right behind the house, there's another set of apartments that kids all play in back there. Like we're surrounded by houses. So there's kids that play in this on the other side of the fence. So the first time that this happened with the yard, I did talk to the landlord and I did say, she's saying that the yard isn't shared. I just like wanted to make sure, because I'm like, if it's not shared, then I won't have Hunter go back there. And he said, no, the backyard is shared. He said that it's an open area. He's like, why would there be that big backyard if your son couldn't play in it? Like there was even toys, there was even like a house back there that he put back there for my son to play with. In regards to her saying that she has been generous, um, I know that she is elderly. I know that she's older. I tried to be polite and I just have been trying to be nice. So, yes, of course, like when she asks me for help or when she wants to say like, "Oh, I have this for you." I'm like, "Oh, sure, like I'll look through it." But that doesn't like justify the way that she has been talking to me or the way that she
Yep.
approaches my window or anything. Like I have never given her anything. I've helped her with things, but I'm not saying like, "Oh, I've been generous to her. So because I've been that way, that should give her no right to do anything to me."
Yeah.
That's not the case. So
Pretty much what I
I
was saying. Yeah.
have
What
never
about the guitar?
the guitar. She gave my son a guitar and she told me and I was like, "Oh, that's really nice." And then she asked for it back. So that was the end of the story for that.
How
There-
long did he have the guitar?
Not very long. He didn't really play with it. I want to say it was like maybe a few weeks or so. Like she gave it and then it was just kind of there. And then she asked for it back and then that was
Wait a minute. So, so you got a problem with, let's say she thinks that the kids are outrageously noisy, right? That may well be the case. Kids make noise. It is what it is. My neighbors' kids make noise all the time. It's not a big deal. Like you just kind of get over it, whatever. But anyway, kids noisy, so you give them a musical instrument. That's probably not the best move. I did it to my brother, just as a prank. I gave his kid a drum set. Best and worst present ever. The kid loved it. Brother didn't.
the end of it. And I didn't even think anything of that. I didn't even remember that until she said that. But I will say that when she says that she's supposed to mow her own lawn, I'm not sure how that is for her because for me, the landlord has maintenance people that come out and mow it. They take care of that on my side at least. So there was one instance where right in front of my door, I heard yelling and there was stuff going on. So I went out there and I was like, "What's going on?" And the maintenance men are like, "Oh, we went out to the backyard to mow the lawn, but your neighbor came out and started yelling at us saying like, 'What are you doing on my property?'" So we stopped and we came out and then she's doing that and I'm like, "What's going on?" Like I kept trying to figure out what was going on and she's like, "This has nothing to do with you. This has nothing to do with you." So it was just kind of like an issue, but it's all happening by my front door. And in those videos that I sent you, it shows her walking in the front door, like through the front of like my door. And the reason that I say that there's no reason for her to be in the front is because she has access to the backyard through her area. And for her to come out in front, it's like I'm surrounded by her basically. So she'll walk out and she'll come around to my window, yell through my window. She'll walk around all the way to the back. Plus I feel like I'm surrounded where she's in the back and I never go back there unless my son is playing. And it's I was going to even like draw a diagram because I'm like the yard is so far back there. It's not even close to her place. She has a huge patio and the yard is way in the back. So they're not even close to her windows or anything. And they're not even interested in like what's going on over here around her. They're out there playing and they're not screaming. They're only 8 and 11. So I have talked to the landlord. He has confirmed that it is a shared yard. The maintenance men have come to me multiple times about her. And even just a few days ago, they came out and mowed my lawn and they were like, I brought my wife and the maintenance guy's like, "I brought my girlfriend to help me mow the lawn and I'm trying to move quickly because I know that the neighbor might yell or do something." So they are even aware. They brought it to me about the way that she's speaking to them. And I just apologize. I'm just like, "I know I feel the same way because I can't even be in my home because she comes and yells in the windows." So it's not something that I'm just like throwing up out of thin air. Like it's something that has been ongoing. I've just kind of dealt with it because I'm like, I don't know what else to do. And then my family and my friends have come to me and been like, no, that's harassment. You don't just like have someone come to your window and yell through the window.
You know, I'm kind of, I've seen a lot of these like here on YouTube, but also in my former work. I used to work in the courts in Australia. So I used to do a lot of the restraining order courts. And I can already tell from the lady's demeanor, the lady who's brought the case, Miss Mayer, that like she clearly is just frustrated. She's not, you can just tell from the way she's speaking, the way she's talking about this lady. She's been very fair and reasonable and understanding, but she's not being like, and she did this and she did that. She's just like, look, this is what's going on. It's gone too far. It has to stop. And, you can tell that it's just got to that point, that she's not being difficult. She's not being nasty or just trying to get one over on this owl one. She's just, sorry, I shouldn't have said owl one. That sounded terrible. That's a very Irish thing to say.
I am not a yeller. I don't scream. I don't yell. I'm a single mom. I've raised my son. He's 11 years old. And she says that he's not a nervous kid. My son literally has anxiety. He's been diagnosed with sensory delay because he gets overstimulated in situations. If I have to like give you documents about his IEP and his anxiety, like I can also do that. My son lives in a household. He lives with his dad. He lives with me. It's not always an easy situation. And for me, this is solely about my son. I just don't want him to feel like we have to worry about the neighbor coming to the window. Like he will tell me like, Mom, like we should just move because it's so much. Like it's gotten to a point where it's so much. She says that she's going to leave me alone, but I have left her alone since the incident with the cat and the vet.
Hang on just a minute. Sorry, Ms. Meyer, find out who that is and don't let them in until they identify themselves. Okay. You've already let them in. Yeah.
Who should let in?
Well, you can send them a chat, find out who they are first.
Oh, it's somebody in Zoom. It's probably because of the people putting things upon the screen which are not conducive to good YouTube.
Can I go ahead? Sorry.
No, just hang on just a second.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. There might be somebody trying to do divilment. It's not good. Seen it happen now a few times. Hold on, I'll just roll it on a little bit.
Harassment.
There we go.
And he advised me to like go ahead. So I've been told by multiple people that it's something that I should just do because I don't know what to do at this point. She, even her saying like she knows when my son is here alone or things like that, like that's like how even just saying things like that is how she's aware of like things that are going on. I have a friend that comes and picks him up. He's with his dad part of the night. So that's even that I'm like, she's so focused and knows what is going on in my place or around me. So that I don't have any idea what's going on with her ever because she's constantly over here. So the reason that she says that I'll leave her alone and I won't have any contact with her. We tried that with the cat and it just escalated and got worse. So that's why I'm at the point where I'm like, if this doesn't go through, is it going to make me to the point where I'm going to have to move? Because she says that she's not going to talk to me or leave me alone. But I feel like since that it has escalated because that last incident where she was yelling through my window, calling me a bitch, she literally was like, "You're a bitch. Do you want to fight?" Like she literally was yelling that through my window. My friend was there too. And I sent you the document of when she said that. Like that, it's come to the.
But like, I mean, just looking at this lady, right? The respondent in this matter, right? So yeah, she comes across a little bit kind of maybe mildly explosive. And you're probably thinking to yourself, I don't know if I could see her saying that for no reason. What is going on with my beard? It's whatever way the light's hitting, it's weird. But anyway, you kind of think, okay, I can't really see her being that nasty, can I? And then, yeah, the rest of the video here kind of tells otherwise. She starts to get a bit out there.
Point where
see her getting edgy the whole time.
My landlord already confirmed that it's a backyard that is shared. He's already confirmed that. And he's been here when the kids were in the backyard. He has been here present and he's never approached me and he did not say they need to go in the front because that's her backyard. And if I need to get like a letter or something from the landlord, I can also do that because I know that he has talked to her. And he, even in that, I sent you a text message from him as well, even saying like, I'm going to talk to her. She needs to leave you alone. Like he's been aware of it.
Go ahead, I'll hear from you, ma'am.
There's a video.
Yes, I mean, it's very short. I don't think it
What,
shows
what
me that
is
much.
it of? Am I calling her out to fight with the broken wrist?
No,
I'm
there's
70
no-
years
as
old.
far as I
I
can-
don't,
Hold on now, lady. You being 70 years old does not mean that you can't fight. I've seen it plenty times. Owl ones battering each other. So don't even give me that. I hope it's not a video of what you were talking about earlier, because nobody wants to see that. Stick it up on OnlyGrams.
do
Okay,
that.
so,
That's a lie.
okay.
But if it's on the recording and I
Well,
don't know what, maybe I'm out of my mind or something.
You know, earlier you had said like the landlord favors her. What did
Does
you
favor
mean
her.
by that?
He does, excuse me?
What did you mean by that?
He does fake, he was. All right, here's an example. She requested an immediate protection order. The day that, I'll get to that, because he was screaming at me about her being out there. So she
The
ordered,
landlord was screaming at you.
landlord was screaming at me, and I said, "You're showing favoritism." So she.
He's allowed to. I mean,
she-
he's allowed to show favoritism. He's a landlord, not a fucking judge. Like, I mean, maybe he prefers her. You know? That's life, lady.
filed a immediate protection order on May 5th. You've read this. On the next day, I'm standing on my deck. The landlord had come out because there's a problem with the raccoons. So he's out in the backyard too. She comes out around her house. So she's coming around the back. And so there's this opening between the fence and the house. And she's standing there with her friend, and I'm on the deck, and she's faced toward me and giving me the dirtiest looks. She's provoking me. And then she's leaning into her friend, whispering. And I told the landlord, she's standing right there, provoking me. This is I have no privacy here. So she did that. And then exactly 6 days later, the maintenance guy, I guess, brought his girlfriend. I've never had a problem with them. When I first moved in, I didn't know. The landlord doesn't give you any notice. He's just all over the place. But I'm standing in my kitchen. I'm going, who's this guy in my backyard? I yelled out, what are you doing in my backyard? That was the end of it. That was all it was. She's made more out of it than it is. She's adding things to things and blowing them up to make a case for herself, and she's lying. So again, so the maintenance guy comes over, he's got his girlfriend. This was May 12th, 6 days from, she needs that immediate protection from me. I can see that the maintenance guy, he was mowing my
Starting
little
to
lawn,
wind
part of
up
my
now.
lawn, what I cut out for myself. And his wife was there, I guess, her girlfriend, and over by where she was at, she was hiding there between the house and the fence, gossiping.
Gosh,
I've had nothing to do with her. Since January, when she declined my offer to take the cat to the vet because she told me she didn't have any money to pay for Pearl to get fixed because Pearl had gotten pregnant twice. The cats are all over the place. I don't know how she expects me not to talk to them or have anything to do with them. They're all over the place. Then
talking to them
I told her I was leaving from my house. It was going to the store. It was pouring down rain, and I could see her in there. I don't go to her window. And I had gone to her when we were talking a couple different times. If I went up to her, I can't help it that the nozzle's by her window. I don't even look at it now. But I had left that night, it's pouring down rain, and Pearl was she was all over the place trying to get in the house, and she couldn't get her attention. And I said, Pearl needs to come in. I'm not screaming. I'm at my car in the driveway. And she ignores me. And I could tell that she heard me.
So ma'am, I'm just gonna stop you for a second, but I frankly feel like you're raising a voice at me.
I'm not raising, I'm absolutely not. I'm upset that I'm being accused and that she's making it sound like more than it is. This is me, this is what
Like I can't for the life of me figure out why somebody might take her aggressive attitude as being aggressive. I'm sure, like genuinely, I'm sure this lady means well across the board. But the fact of the matter is, the conduct is it's disruptive and it's difficult for her neighbor to deal with. You know, you shouldn't have to put up with that kind of behavior, like especially if you've tried to deal with it in pleasanter ways before. More pleasanter? I don't think that's a word. More pleasant ways. But I think she probably does mean well, like, you know.
I get upset, I'm going to get a little bit loud. And
Case in
there
point.
hasn't, she's lying. She's just lying. She's trying to use this to try to get me evicted is what she's trying to do.
What's the situation with your cats, ma'am, Ms. Meyer?
Yes, I rescued Pearl, the one she was talking about, and she got pregnant. I couldn't afford to get her fixed. She's fixed now. She offered to help me with it, and I was like, sure, like that would be great. But she wanted me to put up like $300 and something, which is a lot for me.
It's a lot anyway.
So I ended up just finding somewhere where I could do it for 90.
Oh,
And so
but
then
there
I
you go.
told her that. I just simply said, I scheduled something else and it's $90, and that was the end of it. And she was like, I could tell she was upset. She's like, don't ask me to help you anymore. Like, don't ask me to help you. And then she left, and I was just like, okay. My cats are outdoor and indoor cats. They'll come and like meow at the door when they want to come in, so then I'll let them in. I don't have there was no issues with the cats just like roaming. I have friends that have indoor and outdoor cats. It's pretty normal. And then at night I get them in here. The only reason that I feel like they're even by her door or by her car or they go out into her porch is because she puts food out there. So she talks about like a raccoon.
Wait a minute. Her porch. Not gonna lie, I thought she had a 24-year-old Porsche. And I was kind of thinking, okay, yeah, no, I think if I had an older Porsche, I'd be a bit pissed if somebody's cats were jumping all over it. Okay, that changes things a little bit. I was wondering, because she was like, she's got a huge Porsche. I was like, oh, she must be doing pretty well for herself then with her giant Porsche. It's a porch. Whoops.
Issue, but she puts food out in the front and in the back. And her cats are only indoor cats. So of course it's going to attract animals, or my cats are going to go over there and eat the food that she puts out.
Obviously.
I have like talked to the landlord about that as well, because he did come to me the day that she's talking about, like where she said that the landlord was yelling at her. My son and my friend's kids were in the back. So we just went out there to look at them because we know that she will talk to them or she'll yell. So when I went out there, I looked at the landlord and she seen me look at her. I wasn't staring her down. And so then she starts to yell and says, she's staring me down. Don't you see her? She's staring me down. And then that's why the landlord raised his voice, is because she was yelling. So then he yelled and he said, she's not doing anything. She can look wherever she wants to look. And then he says, like, that's why he raised his voice. So he wasn't directly yelling at her. He was yelling because she was yelling and he was trying to de-escalate the situation.
Yeah, just like to cut it. It's like shooting in the air. It's like, everybody stop. Like, fair enough. Even if he was yelling at her, who cares? He's not in court.
I wasn't going back there to provoke her. I just wanted to make sure that she wasn't going to talk to the kids, because the kids will come in here and you know how it is with like 8-year-olds and 11-year-olds. They will tell you every single thing that everybody is saying. They'll tell you every single thing. So that's why I was like, I don't want them to see anything. I just don't want them to be around like the dysfunction. My son has never been around people yelling at him like that, so he's not used to it. I know that right now it sounds like it's like so much like she said, like a he said, she said situation. And that's what I was afraid of. And that's what I talked to the cops about. Because I was like, so far, it's just been so many verbal things.
But to be fair, though, like, I feel like the the behavior of the other lady in court right now kind of proves a lot of what she's saying. Again, like I don't think she's a bad-natured lady. I think she's just a bit of a batty old bag, like, you know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that somebody has to put up with that. Like, it's just not on. But so I totally I do truly believe the younger lady here, just because of the way she's conducting herself alone, it's very obvious that she's not doing it out of any badness. She just wants the stuff to stop, really.
I have no intention of trying to get her evicted. That's not why I'm doing this. I just want it to be something where I know for a fact that she's not going to talk to me or talk to my son. The window, she says that she comes, like she literally is saying, I come and talk to her through the window. That isn't a normal behavior. I've lived in apartments, I've lived in duplexes. I've never had neighbors come and talk to me through the window. They will knock on my door, and if I don't answer, I don't answer. And then that's that. And if they want to see me, or they'll leave a note or something, but it's never, I feel like she's saying, even her saying, like, I come to her window, or like it's just getting to be too much. So I know, and I've talked to the landlord, he doesn't favor me. I think it's because of the way that I speak to him, and we both hold respect for each other, that he is speaking to me the way that he's speaking to me. I've never had any issues. I've never had to call him for anything. If there's something that needs to be fixed, I fix it. I even feel bad even contacting him about this, because he already has so many things that he needs to worry about. And then me saying, like, oh, this is the neighbors here talking to me again. The neighbors here going through coming to my window again. It's just gotten to be too much.
You can have the final word there.
I will. She's lying. I got her a $300 voucher in my name. I obviously, being a senior, I can get help from other resources. I've never asked her to pay for it. That's why she said she didn't have the money. So she's lying. It was a $300 voucher, and I made the appointment with my vet. Anyway, so she's lying about that. I've never yelled at her son, ever. There's been no kids around in the backyard for an entire year, and then all of a sudden all these kids just show up. But I have never yelled at her. Yes, I'm loud because I'm upset right now, you know, and that's just part of my emotional makeup. That's just how it goes. As far as talking to her through her window, we were cordial at that time. The way it's situated is it's a long driveway, and I go drive all the way to the back, and she just pulls up on the gravel. And she has one of those old picture windows. Well, I see her, the curtain was open, we're getting along, and the window's open a little bit. And I walk past, and oh, hi. And instead of going to the door, instead of her getting up, she has to walk around a sectional couch, I chit-chatted with her for a second. There's nothing, I don't see anything odd or mental about that. It's just being neighborly, period. And anyway, she's literally is just taking everything. I will go back to this video. Is that lawful? I mean, it's on private property. I didn't know I was being videotaped.
See, it's okay to have a security camera over your front door, which is what she has.
I never saw one, and
So?
I was
That doesn't
kind
mean
of
it's not there.
suspicious, huh?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's not there.
Okay, but shouldn't it be posted that it's there?
No.
I read online that it should.
You read wrong.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
don't
wow.
think so.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get one too, but I didn't have that kind of money. Did she see me?
Can she see you
Yeah.
from here? Yes, I assume so. She's got a
Okay.
camera on.
So anyway, this is just
that was
going back
weird.
and forth. I am.
It's not going back and
troubled
forth.
About the continuing.
It's not going back and forth. You're going back and forth. Like, you paused it. Can she see me? Like, that was you.
It wasn't so. All I asked for was the kids to have the kids to quiet down. That's all. That's it. Oh, as far as her son, she's making it kind of sound like I'm kind of being a little creepy with her son. I knew that he was home the last time I knew he was home. I was out spraying the rocks and everything else off the long driveway, and I saw him in there. And I just went up there and talked to him for a minute. He shared some things about himself with me, and I'm right here, get scared or anything. I've always been nice to him. And he had the guitar for a couple months, but it doesn't matter the length of time. My daughter came over. I didn't know that she still wanted it back because it's a sentimental thing. She doesn't even play. I was going to, and I wrote that. I was looking around for something else to replace it, but none of this is going to happen now. I'm through with her. I don't want her coming in. If the kids come back in there, and kids are loud, and little girls, they're screeching. They're like that. All this kind of behavior, standing there intimidating me. Well, I'm in my own house, or I'm on my deck enjoying my day with my cats, and her friend. Her friend's terrible. Her friend's kind of nasty. She's one that set me off that day. That's why I called her a bitch. And the fight. Oh, well, I don't have to get into that with you. We know that's not true. And then whatever you want to do.
Thank you.
She's gonna say whatever she wants to say, and boy, this is gonna come back to bite her in her lifetime.
Why? Why would it come back to bite?
Dishonest.
But you're kind of proving her point by saying that kind of thing, lady.
She will be found out.
By who? And who cares anyway?
So
The judge is smiling.
a couple of things. I previously read the definition of unlawful harassment. I'm going to do it again. Harasses or is detrimental to such person and serves no legitimate or lawful.
Don't really need all
Problematic.
that.
They can be difficult to enforce. They can create all kinds of things about whether or not, does this violate the order or not? If there's distance restrictions, don't come within X amount of feet and all that sort of stuff. And Ms. Meyer comes and she's listed a number of things that Ms. Adams is alleged to have done. And again, you're right in the sense, and Ms. Adams is right in the sense that, yeah, just talking to someone through their window, yeah, that's not a problem. People do that when you walk by. Oh, yeah, how's it going? And that's one characterization of the communication between the conversation through the window. On the other hand, Ms. Meyer says, no, she comes and stands out my window and berates me and tells me all the things I'm doing wrong with regard to the cats and my child, I should say, it's not children. And the kids are in the back and all this sort of stuff. And so one person's conversation is another person's, for lack of a better word, harassment. And, and I kind of have to judge this based on, I judge it on a lot of things, what's been submitted, evidence, and the testimony of witnesses and evidence combined with how people behave in court and the manner in which they present themselves. And so you had indicated earlier, I can do what I want. And yes, thank you. I do have the discretion to enter an order that I feel is appropriate. And
May I say one last thing? And then I'll leave you alone.
I'm not sure how I can stop you, but go ahead.
Just for fun.
Not sure how we
She,
can stop you.
Okay, I'm going to stop you about that.
She
I don't,
indicated,
hang on just a second.
I
Just
just
stop.
Can I say something? I'm not sure I can stop you. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people can stop this lady if she wants to
enter an
say
order,
something.
that I feel is appropriate. And
may I say one last thing? And then I'll leave you alone.
I'm not sure how I can stop you, but go ahead.
Just for fun. She,
Okay, I'm going to stop you about that.
she
I don't,
indicated,
hang on just a second.
I just
stop.
wanna see her
Just
response.
stop for a minute.
Oh.
Listen to me.
okay,
Okay, so, actually that throwaway comment actually tells me quite a lot. This isn't fun. This
It's
isn't fun
not.
for her. I don't think it's fun for you. It's not very much fun for me to sit there and listen to two people who live next to each other and are going to continue to live next to each other. So when you say things like, well, this is just for fun, kind of tells me how seriously you're taking it. Now, go ahead. You wanted to say something? Go right ahead.
well, I that just kind of popped out of my mouth because I'm bewildered about this, that anybody would say something about another person like this. But I see she does like to gossip. I'm curious as her explanation of.
She says while
She
gossiping.
checked that I tried to kill myself. Did we get a response for that? Because I did indicate, I couldn't understand it for the longest time, and I wanted to respond to that. And so I Googled it, and there is an explanation of why somebody would start that kind of a rumor. And I would like to hear why she would check that on that thing.
Ms. Meyer, go ahead.
Yeah, in fairness, like if it is on the document, then probably should have to answer as to why.
I'm not exactly sure what she's talking about.
Okay, so hang on just a minute. Let me look at your petition. I assume that's what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen these before. Like, as I said, I used to work in these courts, but like, there is a checkbox. You know, do you think the person is at a risk or has threatened to harm or whatever themselves? Then, so yeah, likely that was ticked, I would imagine. Oh, she's getting out glasses, moving with purpose. That's always a sign. See what happens here now. So what are you thinking about it so far? Would you give an order or would you just kind of tell them to leave each other alone? Maybe a conduct agreement or something?
Where are you talking about?
I'm gonna get it, because I wouldn't have said anything about it if it wasn't on here.
It says on the petition on page 12 of the position, it says suicidal behavior. Describe any threats. And that's
That's not
blank.
it. There's another place. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm just trying to find it for myself. I saw that too, but that's not it. Just 1 second. I think it's before that. Oops, just 1 second. Please. Because it's in here. Well, she must know she checked it, because,
She said she didn't know what you were talking about.
yeah, well, I do know what I'm talking about. It's in here. I just need to know. I'm just overly anxious
She's just
right
so
now.
like self-victimizing. Like when the judge said that she says that she doesn't know what you're talking about. She goes, well, I do know what I'm talking about. It's like, what named it, you lady?
My heart, here it is. It's on page 2. It says, disability, hazard, and weapon information about the restrained person. And it's checked
Standard.
suicide attempt or threats. First, she says,
That was on the law enforcement.
yeah, it says, does a restrained person have a disability, brain injury, or impairment?
That was on the
And it says
LEA.
unknown, and then it's checked suicide attempt.
Or threats, though. I'm guessing, I haven't actually seen this bit, but I'm guessing off the top of my head, now maybe she has said something before or whatever, that could be the simple answer to it. It could just be the language of it, that it could say about, you know, the self-unalive attempts and threats, as in threats thereof is what it means. But people might construe that as just general threats, not related to self-deleting. So that's my guess. It might be totally wrong, but
I don't have that in my life.
So it does check that in the information that was sent, the law enforcement. Do you know why that box was checked, Ms. Meyer?
I don't. I did. If she's saying that it has, like, if there's multiple things, if it says like,
No, it
There's-
says, does this person have a disability, brain injury, or impairment? That's unknown. Hazard information, history includes, and then the box checks. Suicide attempt or threats.
I must have read it where it said or threats, which I was assuming was like threatening. So I thought it was like a multiple thing.
That meant
Oh, yeah.
suicide attempt or threats of suicide.
yeah.
So do you
Yeah.
take that perceived as threats to you?
Yeah, when she was telling me like,
I've seen that
do you
happen
want to
loads of
fight?
times.
I was assuming that it was just threats in general. I
Yep.
thought it was, I didn't realize that it.
I saw that one time in person in one of these courts about 4 or 5 years ago, and the guy went off over it. And the lady was like, whoa, hold on. What I meant was just threats in general, not those kind of threats. and just simple confusion. It's not a big deal either way. I mean, it doesn't really have any bearing on it, but
Said it's to like pertaining to suicide.
oh yeah, but she did say earlier, the respondent did say earlier about how, oh, I Googled it, why somebody would say such a thing. So clearly she's a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Paranoid.
But there has
So
nothing.
do you have any thoughts of that, or do you remember anything like, oh, I see what you're saying. But you're not saying there that you're aware of any suicide attempts or not.
No, absolutely not.
Does that clear that up for you?
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
I
Moving swift.
apologize for my
It's all right.
outburst. I'm very upset by the whole thing because I have to live so close to her and I can't move. I've
That's
moved
fake crying.
myself out. I'm not well enough to move again, so she
That's
can't
fake.
live with it, and she wants to make all this stuff up. I don't know what else to say about it.
That's fake crying. So you're looking around to see if anybody
No,
noticed.
I don't know what to tell her about her cats. That's up to you because they're all, and I don't feed them anymore. The landlord did make an issue about me putting the food out, and so I'm not putting any out since he was here. He's in
Yeah,
Florida
well,
right
let me
now.
ask you, why would you do that?
The food?
Yeah,
Okay, because it's cat food. I have 6 cats,
right.
and a lot of
I'm
times,
told
and
they're all inside though.
yes, my cats are inside. That's why I
Why
have.
would you put cat food outside?
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Okay,
And
She's
they're
got a
not
point
allowed
there.
outside. They just have the enclosure on the deck. But they're spoiled. They always have a lot of food, dry food and wet food. And there's always leftover. And I don't want anything to go into the garbage. And so I put it out. Well, anyway.
so hang on a second.
Yes.
So you're saying your cats, you put that out there,
Because there's leftovers.
okay, for leftover of your food.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you realize that attracts like other hang on, let me finish, please. They got some raccoons, which are a
Yes.
danger to cats.
Rakins.
Yes.
And so that by leaving that food out there, that attracts
Yes.
those cat
Well,
predators.
I have a raccoon and some babies underneath that.
Raccoons, obviously we don't have raccoons here in Ireland. I don't think I've ever seen a rakin. They predate on cats. I didn't know that. I thought they were just scavengers, as they say. I didn't realize that they would actually be predatory towards cats. Yep, I'm going to ADD dive into that.
House now. They're tearing up underneath the kitchen floor.
Right.
And we're working on that. And I've got a mother and father possum. They're the cutest thing. I got videos on that. And I got a little gray mouse that lives underneath the house. And that little raccoon come up to the door the other day. It was the cutest thing. I have a glass window for my door.
Okay. Yeah, she is battier than COVID soup, this one. Yeah.
And it was like this. I haven't looked out, walking past, I hadn't looked out, and it was like this. It was the raccoon, the mama. She just lost a bunch of weight. She'd ask them for the food.
Right.
It was so
But
cute.
do you understand, while
Yeah.
raccoons are very cute, and I
They
agree
are
with
cute.
that, those are dangerous for cats.
They
so
already
smart.
2 of them
And so
already
they're,
stole one of my cats and
Right.
took it and ate it. I know. they
right, so
are.
why would you put something out there that attracts them?
What? I didn't know that raccoons do that. I had no idea. I know they're carnivorous or omnivorous, but Jesus, I had no idea. That's a new one on me.
I know. I'm my heart's double on that. I know because 2 of them did take it.
So
My
here's where I'm
God.
at, ma'am.
Oof.
Based on it again,
That's
of
rough,
course, I have
man.
to make certain, I'm hearing one thing from you, I'm hearing another thing from Ms. Meyer, and then I may have, and I know this has probably gone on longer than either one of you would have liked, but nonetheless, here we are. And so I have to make determinations one way or the other and, make credibility assessments and then just make a decision based on everything that I've presented. And for what I'm going to do basically is, I do find that and maybe you didn't realize it, and maybe you do now, that your behavior and the interactions between you and Ms. Meyer has gone beyond what one would perceive as normal and does go into harassing behavior. So an order is going to be entered, and the only parameter of this order is, like a lot of times we have, don't engage in stalking behavior, which really isn't the case. Can't do really a distance restriction because I can't enter an order that makes you leave or anything like that. You're just not to contact her. or her child. Don't communicate with her. Don't do anything. You know, some of the things you say, I don't necessarily find to be, you know, you might think that she was provoking you, but I can't make any for finding that she did anything to provoke you. She was just out there and she gave me a mean look.
You can tell.
I mean, I just don't look at that as being provocative. And also, you know, it makes sense to me that that's a shared yard, and that's a big yard that, you know, kids are going to play in. And kids, you have at least one child you mentioned. You know,
I don't
kids.
have any children.
I thought you said your daughter was on the guitar. Was I wrong about that?
My children are in their 50s.
I
I'm
know.
70 years old.
Well, but they're still your children. And when they were
Yeah.
young, I'll bet when they played, they made some noise. And so my point being that
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like maybe she would have made sure that didn't
if
happen.
you have experience raising children, and when children play with friends outdoors, that sometimes can be loud, and that's just goes
When I
with the,
play with my friends outdoors, it's loud. I'm louder with my mates than any group of kids. In fairness, me and my mates and I, sorry, mother, we all ride Harley Davidson, so we're loud as hell. There's no doubt about that.
territory of kids playing. And so
Or grown ass
and
men.
that's again, I'm just saying that just for the purpose of saying that. So the order is going to be entered. It's going to be in one place, and you're just not to. And by the, you know, the other point I was going to make, you know, these cats are Ms. Meyer's responsibility.
Mhm.
You know, and she's the one who needs to look after them and all that sort of stuff. And you're not the. And so you just need to remember that and let her take care of her own cats. However, if she's doing something, you know, wrong or what have you, that can be up to other people, but you're not to be responsible or worried about her cats. You understand that?
I quit feeding them.
Okay. And so that's where it's at, and it'll exist for 1 year. And that's where we're at. Do you have any questions at all about what this order is going to say?
I'm still concerned about her and her friend standing out in the backyard and trying to intimidate me. I really, truly am. Her friend is not a pleasant person at all.
Your Honor, can I say something?
No, I don't think you should at this time.
Okay.
I'm going to say something though, and that is, you know, her friend isn't here, and you know, people are going to be able to stand where they're allowed to be. They can stand in the shared backyard. You can too, and you're just not to talk to each other. And if you have an issue with her friend, you can, you know, you can take whatever steps that are necessary to deal with that, or. But that's, you know, I'm not this order doesn't going to govern who she can have over and all that
that's
sort
ridiculous.
of stuff. And if they start doing something, you know, harassing to you, you can bring it back and we can talk about that. But her friend's not here. She's not a part of this right now.
Exactly.
Good. I hope so.
I do.
And I hope that if you two can stay away from each other and leave each other alone, things will calm down and everybody can live peacefully in their own place.
What's she gonna do about her cats? They're all over. I'm not feeding
That's her
them, but
business,
they're on
man.
my deck, they're on the roof, they're on top of the car.
Get
And
a
I quit
restraining
feeding
order
them.
against her cats.
I know they want to eat, but I said, no, I'll get in trouble. Doesn't want me to talk. How do you not talk to cats?
How do you talk to cats? That's where I'm like, how do you talk to cats? You know what you should do, lady? If the cat's coming over eating the food that you're putting out, just get a restraining order against the cats. What could possibly go wrong?
There's
God, I'd love
nothing
to
in
see
the
that
order that
here.
restrains you from talking to
Well,
cats.
thank you. But I don't want the cops to have to waste their time to come out and do that, you know, and I don't want to run over the poor Pearl while she's underneath my car. I love them. I love the cats. And I'm not feeding them. I'm trying to get a raccoon to come out underneath the house so we can trap her with the babies and be done with it. And I'm not gonna put food out after, once I get the raccoons out.
Have you talked with your landlord about the raccoons?
Yeah, we're working on it.
There's nothing in this order restraining you from talking to cats. That's one of the funniest things I've ever heard
He
before.
actually had, when the maintenance guy bring trap, he didn't set the trap up right, but, yeah, that's the problem because he never goes back to check on it and you can't leave You can't leave.
Raccoons can present issues for humans as well.
Yeah, they
Huh?
can carry all sorts of diseases,
Like-
can't they?
Yes, absolutely. Oh, well, that's why we're trapping it. But he brought it out. He didn't set up right, whoever came out, and they didn't even tell me that it was trapping. You can't leave a defenseless animal trapped up in a trap and not and let it starve to death in a trap.
She's right there. I
So
agree
we're
with that.
working on it. Landlord's in Florida. He'll be back in 2 weeks. We're taking care of it. Because he's doing, it's under there, tearing up the kitchen floor. I don't want my floor tore up.
I don't think your landlord does either.
No, he doesn't. We're working on it.
woman.
We'll give you a copy of that order for you to go. Any questions? I'm gonna leave with this, and I hope you take this to heart, Ms. Adams. You're just not to contact Ms. Meyer or her child, communicate with her in any way.
And that goes with them too.
No, it does not.
Oh.
The only person on this order is the
Oh,
petitioner.
They can contact me and bother me.
If they contact you, then you can go and get your own order. But right now, the only person who's subject to the order,
Well, I
she's a
may have to
petitioner.
do that.
You
Oh,
can
please
certainly do
it.
that.
I'd love to see
Certainly do
this.
that.
That's it for today, ma'am. Ms. Meyer, a copy of this order will get emailed to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
And you're free to go, ma'am.
Well, where do you even start? Like, okay, let's break it down just a tiny bit here because I'm going to go get some lunch in a minute. So Miss Meyer, you can tell she's a nice lady. I don't think she really wanted to be there and wanted to have to get to this level, but obviously everything else failed. You can tell she's not a vindictive woman. You can just tell from her demeanor and the way she spoke about this other lady. She didn't speak in a nasty way about her. She was actually really like, look, she's a nice lady, but it's a bit overbearing or whatever. The other lady, the respondent, you can tell that, like, as I said, she's battier than COVID soup, but like, she's not a bad lady. She seems like she's genuinely a nice person, a bit, but other than that, she's actually probably perfectly lovely, just that she's difficult to deal with. But anyway, let me know in the comment section down below. Have you ever had a neighbor like that? I have had some fucking dingers over the years. But let me know and we'll catch you in the next one. Slán.